Disclaimer: this video features imagery not suitable for younger audiences or anyone who would not consider themselves a fan of horror content in general. That said, I will be poking fun at all the horror content henceforth. Consider yourselves warned. My dude, what are you doing? You can't even fit through the door. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the horror genre. Now, I'll give an abridged version that I might go in depth on someday in a different video. But long ago, in the distant year of 2016, I used to be a Twitch streamer, and I somehow stumbled into becoming a horror streamer despite having zero prior interest in the genre. However, after getting several recommendations from viewers and friends alike, I've officially become a convert. Now, one of my main reasons that I've never had any real interest in horror, which stands to this day, is I just don't find horror scary. This isn't to say I'm some macho man full of machismo, but honestly, to me, it just feels that it's either flat out stupid, hyper unrealistic to the point where I cannot suspend my disbelief, or otherwise, simple jump scares. Having said my gripes, now I can say I have grown up to appreciate more than anything else the ambiance that comes from a good horror setup, or even the subversion of said expectation. Now, I'm a bit of a total goofball, so I'm not the kind of person that you should take into movies because while I can appreciate the sound design that goes into making that eerie feeling, it's hard for me not to say silly quips when something happens. Now, who's at the door? Don't make me take you back to the thrift store, you Annabelle wannabe! Personally, my favorite type of horror is psychological horror. And honestly, I feel that there's nothing that does it better than Doki Doki Literature Club. And yes, this is in fact a real and genuine horror game. And what's more is if you own a PC, it is free on Steam. This game has all of my favorite things, an amazing soundtrack, that subversion of expectation, and if it's free, it's for me. And it was fun being a hipster when it first came out and then just watching it become more and more popular. It was great. But if you're here watching this video and you have not played it, then you need to stop and play it. It is a short game. It only takes 3 to 5 hours to beat depending on your reading speed. My only warning is it's a bit of a slow burn before it picks up, but I promise you it is worth it. Now, sorry for that, but sometimes I have to gush over probably my favorite piece of horror medium of all time. But that doesn't mean I don't have an appreciation for the classics. I mean, I have a running joke that good old Mikey Myers has always just been a bit of a rabid advocate for abstinence and gone extreme. But, I guess he got retconned anyways. Now, I think the most interesting thing that does have a high-risk, high-reward situation is, well, as someone who's more of a hobbyist, I don't know what the actual term for it is, but I personally call it distortion horror. So, as an example, let's bring back our friend from earlier. Let's see what happens if we stare at him for a little while. Okay, let's try that again with Lil Thrifty and see if it has the same impact. Now, I don't know about you, but that doesn't really hit the same. That's the thing about those high-risk, high-reward natures, and I've seen movies where they go for that gamble and they just don't do it right. Now, maybe you're the opposite of me. Maybe you thought that doll was way scarier and the other guy wasn't. But that's the thing with horror, and I've never really understood. Honestly, I just appreciate the intent for the most part, and I find them both pretty silly. But hey, honestly, I just had fun making this video. That part is true. So anyway, the moral of this story, Dad, is go and play Doki Doki Literature Club if you haven't. Tell me your favorite part. If you have, tell me your favorite part. If you haven't and you don't want to, tell me your favorite horror game or movie in the comments below. Anyway, Story Dad out.